for joining me for the finale to my Corselette internal support video. If you have not watched the first two videos, I suggest you do that. Otherwise, let's get started. So what we see here is that I've made my 2 layers and I've made my channels for my boning that we're going to add later, and I've added 1 cup so you get an idea of what exactly we are going for as we move on in this series to finish up our corselette. So this is just one of the cups. I put a piece of boning in just so you had an idea, and this is just the front part of this gown. My client is a plus size client, so this is just the front part of the corselette. So I don't want you guys to get confused about the placement. Here you see I've done some pins here. Her dress is supposed to have this illusion look, but in order for her to get the support, she needs to have straps. So I decided to bind the bra strap that I left on there in the silk fabric that matches the inside of her dress so that everything is nice and consistent and that there wasn't going to be any visible bra straps. So this is the piece that we are going to add. This is going to be the other side of the cut piece, and I just want you to see sort of like what I've done so far. I've pinned that extension on there, and we're going to go in and begin to sew that next piece. So if you remember at the beginning of this, we kept on just a sliver of the original piece of the bra so that we had something to attach it to. This was the reason. Now I'm going to, like I said, with my pins with the seams facing outward, meaning when the client gets in it, she shouldn't see visible seams. So I have my seams facing outward, and I'm going to attach that extension there and hand sew that piece there. You can use a running stitch, you can use a machine stitch for the hand. Either way, it will be fine. I'm choosing to hand sew it because I find that it's easier to manage because it's such a narrow piece. It's very difficult to do this on the machine. So I just find that hand stitching it comes off a lot more accurate than machine stitching. So once you're done, it should look something like that. So now I'm going to attach my next cup onto the dress. I want to make it look as much as if this was the way the design originally came. So we want to keep those natural lines that the bra has, and we just want to attach it to our corselette that we created. Sometimes it's hard to get the pins through there because it's, like I said, it's just a very narrow sliver of a piece. So you have to make sure you get your pins in there and that you do very secure, tight, small stitching because it does work once you're able to get it in there. And again, I recommend hand stitching because it's very difficult to run the machine through. And also, if you are good at the pick stitch, that's what I would recommend you use because the pick stitch can be nearly invisible and it's a really secure stitch. In future videos, I'll definitely show you guys what exactly a pick stitch entails. I use it all the time. I use it for zippers. I use it for so many things because it's a great way to hide those stitches and also get a secure stitch. So this is what it looks all pinned up. So now I'm going to go in and show you what this looks like close up. And just a very quick tutorial on a pick stitch. You want to go in and get as tiny of a piece as you can of the thread showing. Most of the thread is going to be hidden in between those layers. So you just go in and take a tiny piece. Most of the thread goes underneath, and you just repeat that step over and over again. Very, very tiny dots of thread should be visible. Otherwise, most of it is hidden in between those layers. And I carry that on through the entire portion there. Again, this piece you can actually run through the machine, but for continuity, I just decided to keep them all hand stitched. So this is what it looks like when both those pieces are on there. Again, this is the front of my corselette, so I haven't done the back seams yet. So this is the front and the side, the front side of my corselette. So we're going to push that off to the side now that our cups are in there and they're nice and secure. We're going to push that off to the side and we're going to work on adding in our boning. This is the back, the side and the back of the corselette. This is where we added in that additional piece that's going to go across the back area. So I'm opening this up here. For this dress, I'm using the metal boning. I find that it's very sturdy and that it creates the support that you need. So normally you can get this in a variety of sizes, but I just thought it'd be a lot easier for me to get just like a midpoint size that I was able to alter. In order to alter, you get these clippers here, and they're specifically for metal. You can get them at any hardware store. I got mine at Home Depot. It's about 30 bucks, and they're great for clipping these metal boning pieces. You unsnap it here, secure it, and then when you're not using it anymore, you just use that snap again. I'm using a water-soluble marker, and that's how I'm going to mark it on the metal. It's nice and bright, and that way I don't leave any permanent marks. So I do my tester by sticking the metal boning in there. So I'm going to go in and mark the area with the water-soluble marker, make a couple of dots. Just note that when you're actually going in and cutting it, I try to cut just above. You can see here I made those marks, nice and visible there. So when I'm actually going in to cut it, I'm not going to cut an line. I'm going to go just above because I need to have room to work out the finishing binding that's going to go on there. So I go up about a ½ inch to make sure that it's slightly shorter so I can make sure I finish it. It snaps off pretty easily, and you're able to get exact metal pieces in there, metal boning pieces for your corselette. So it's fairly simple. And just to sort of double check there, you place it back in, and you want to make sure enough of it is hidden. So what I noticed about when you have the metal pieces and you cut it, there's this very sharp edge, and that can poke your client in the sides, and it's not comfortable at all. So that's some of the setbacks of having the metal pieces not matched. So a solution I found for that is this nail filer that I bought, this mechanical nail filer that I use, and it just quickly actually files down these sides. So what I do is I basically just turn it on, and it just quickly files down the pieces. So now you see they're not as sharp as they were anymore, and they have a nice round accent. And then you go in there and you touch those sides, and now they're nice and smooth. I would also reinforce that by wrapping it with some sort of fabric in addition before you actually put them in there, just to make sure you know for sure it's not going to poke the client. Once that's done, I go in and do this technique. It's more of a historical technique that's done where you create these sort of like V patterns, and it's basically to secure the boning to the corselette so that it doesn't move as much or there's not as much slippage. So it's just a pretty, I know there's like an official name, it escapes my mind right now, but it's really just like I create, as you can see, the sort of V pattern where I'm just sort of securing the boning into the channel and just preventing it from moving up and down. And it's a pretty simple stitch, and you just kind of go over and over it. My recommendation is something that I had to learn is that try to use a stronger thread. I was more going for like a pretty thread that had some shine to it. And unfortunately, in doing that, it came apart quite a lot. So I had to go in and continuously rework the stitch and redo it. So I would say, like, for anyone attempting to do that on all of the sides, make sure you go in and get a thicker thread. But that's a technique that after you're done with getting all the channeling in, that's what you do to each of them. Okay, so as you can see now, we are heading towards the end of our corselette. And I just want to show you guys how I bind them. So now we have all that fraying down there, and you want to clean that up. So what I do is I take a binding tool. It's a small binding tool. You can't see in this video, but I do believe I have it in another video where it shows you how to create your own binding. It's really simple, it's really quick, and that tool is like a lifesaver. Once you've done that, you're going to first open it up. You're not going to close it yet. And I would say your binding should be about 2 inches wide to a ½ an inch wide. And you're just going to create place your pins right on the edge. As you can see, I'm placing it right on the fold so that there's no like fray parts of that binding showing. It's right on the fold, and I'm just going to go in and pin that down, which is to show. We're also going to do the pick stitch for this as well. And if you can see them on the other side, it kind of takes away from the professionalism of the corselet. This you can actually machine sew just to make your life a little bit easier. Once you have the pinning, you can baste it and then machine sew because that part's not really going to show. So this is what it looks like for the most part, how I've machine sewn it and then went in and did my pick stitch to close everything up. So I'm towards the end of it, so I just wanted to show you guys how I finish off the binding to my corselet. So I go in there, have my last few pins, and again I do that pick stitch where I go in, and maybe this is a better view, where I pick up just a little bit, but most of my thread is going to be in between those layers, and then I'm going to carry it through and then go in and pick up just a little bit of the visible thread. That's why they call it pick stitch, because it picks up just a little bit visibly, but in between, as you can see, there's no thread poking out from the other side. So I go in and I finish my binding out, and in order for me to close it, I just look at those two tabs there and very neatly just finish it off. Some of you might be thinking, well, why can't I use a machine? You find that it looks a lot more high-end, more professional when you try to avoid using too many visible machine stitches. That's how you really tell the difference between a high-end garment and something that's made more in a factory. It's a lot more hand sewing involved, and you want to make sure there's as little visible stitching as possible. So that's what the client is going to see for the most part when they, well, actually, no, this portion is going to be more so inside the dress, so you're not really going to see that, but that's what it's supposed to look like when it's all done. So this is it. This is the corselet in the dress. I'm going to open it up here. The bottom portion was attached with these cute little heart ribbons just to keep it in place. And there was also some attachments made to the shoulders. This is the dress back in its entirety. I just want you to have a full view. You can see that I was able to achieve that illusion mesh on the back area, but still there's those faint bra straps that don't stand out as much as normal bra straps would. And that's how it goes in the dress. And I also created her this cute little custom veil to match her custom dress. I hope you guys enjoyed this corselet series, and I look forward to making more videos in the future. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Videos are uploaded weekly covering dressmaking, fashion, lectures, and more. Enroll in Lady Cloth U on Teachable for dressmaking and fashion design courses. See you again soon.